Okay, I'd like to discuss an interesting observation that we can learn about ourselves from the Prshat Devarim, Perek Aleph, Pasuk Chaf Bet. Rashi is medayek the words, V'tekrivun alai kulchem. The Pasuk is recounting the chet of the Meraglim, and the Pasuk says, V'tekrivun alai kulchem. Rashi says that we learn one of the problems in the chet of Meraglim from these specific words. The lashon of Rashi is bi'irbuvya, that kulchem connotes the fact that there was a certain problem with the presentation of the Meraglim when they came to Moshe Rabbeinu. In order to understand this better, we're going to compare it to a pasuk in Parshas V'Chanan, almost the same words. V'tikruvun elai kol roshei shiftechem v'ziknechem. The context here is after Hashem said the first two dibrot by himself. Bnei Yisrael were very afraid, and they asked Moshe Rabbeinu to take over the rest of the dibrot. But the words there, v'tikruvun alai kol roshei shiftechem v'ziknechem, Rashi points out, ota kriva hayta hogenet. This was a proper way to approach Moshe Rabbeinu. Yiladim mechabdim et haskinim ushalchum lefneihem. V'skinim mechabdim et harashim lalechet lefneihem. That the approach there was organized. There was a hierarchy in the way people were standing and the way people were approaching Moshe Rabbeinu. If we come back to the pasuk of the Meraglim, v'tikruvun alai kulchem, Rashi points out here, tikruvun alai kulchem bi'irbuvya, with confusion. Yiladim dochvin et haskinim, v'skinim dochvin et harashin. That in this case, the Meraglim came to Moshe Rabbeinu. The people were all mixed up. There was no order. Children were pushing the elderly, and it was done in a non-organized way. What point do we learn here? The problem in Chet HaMeraglim, one of the problems was that the actual request to send Meraglim before going to war was not as problematic as the attitude that the Meraglim had towards their idea. Moshe Rabbeinu himself might have thought to send Meraglim, because we know Ein Samchin ala Nes, and that might have been part of the Hishtadlut. The issue with Chet HaMeraglim was the fine balance between bitachon and Hishtadlut that we have when we take actions in this world. The fact, interestingly enough, Rav Simcha Zissel Mikelm, the Alter of Kelm, points out something very interesting. The fact that the Meraglim approached with confusion shows that they were in a panic. There was anxiety. Meaning their attitude was that if we don't do this, send the Meraglim, we will lose this war. Rather, the attitude should have been, Ein somchim ala nes, and we have to do hishtadlut, but we have confidence that Hashem will help us. And here, through the Meraglim's panic and anxiety, we see the source of the problem. We don't have time to go into this at length, but the balance between hishtadlut and bitachon is supposed to be one where a person realizes, as the Chavot HaLevavot says, a person has a chovah, a requirement to do hishtadlut in this world, but he also has a chovah to understand that there's not a direct cause and effect between his actions and the outcome. Meaning, really, God will decide, and I have to do my chelek. Or if we use the lashon of the Ramchal and Mesil Isharim, my hishtadlut is mukhrach, I must do it, but it's being porea mas. I'm paying a tax that humans have to pay because of Chet Adam HaRishon. This could be discussed at length at a different time. What we learn from this is that when a person realizes that he must do hishtadlut, but he's not overly invested in the fact that he is the only one controlling the outcome, his approach is one of calmness and order. When we approach anything, as the Meraglim did, or we could do in our personal lives when we go to a doctor or make a bank investment or anything else we do, if we approach it with panic and anxiety, it might be a sign that we're overly invested in the importance of our specific hishtadlut without realizing that God actually controls the outcome and we are helping Him in His plan through doing hishtadlut.